2026, what is there to say? We're here now, so I guess the past doesn't matter. Outside of all those things, describing what 2025 was like will be hard in some places. And at the same time, it'll be empowering. You know what they say, whenever there's like a shortcoming or an endeavor, then if you make the best of it, then it becomes a good thing, right? I'm all for the whole, look, there's a couple things I wanted to say. Hope you guys, catch my drift here and see what I'm trying to get off my chest. 2025 in the beginning of the year started off in a sense where I thought that I would have been able to expand certain things, right? And build certain relationships after 2024. And 2025 started with an unfortunate event. Usually I have like a lot of like anxiety with stuff like that. So if you've been following along, usually around the beginning of the year, I haven't been posting too much in the beginning of the year, especially 2025 and 2024, because things have been going on and just, I'm not saying I'm like in the trenches, I'm not saying like that, but like, just natural disasters, not like weather or anything, just like a certain type of death happened. And as an adult these days, I realize, hey, this has been going on my whole life. And I treated it as such. Not saying that I don't have emotions or anything like that. Like, I don't feel, just that, sometimes there are people that to the outside, perception wise or on paper, they're close to you, right? And when something happens, you're kind of taken back by it, and at the same time, like, it's not real to you. Either there's a block on that, or you just legitimately have gotten over those feelings in the past through other experiences that you had with that person. Gotten over those feelings. And now, present day, like a climax type stuff happens, and you're like, wow, and all you can do is just remember all of like the early stuff from that person and your relationship over time, and you realize that they've been telling you for a long time that they're not immortal. They've been telling you that for a long time. It's only until it happens when it's like, oh my God, it happened. And you start to get a rise out of yourself. Some people even get out of body experiences like tears, maybe like a oh, I can't believe this, so those things happen. So that was the beginning of the year. So I had to recover from the death in the family, and mentally I had to set myself up to keep going, to keep showing up. Because usually whenever something like that happens, it depends. Okay, so I was reading this book, and they were telling me about like a war that happened in Mexico. And there was like one side versus like the other side, and the war was almost finished, right? It was just a hard fought war. They're like trying to gain control over territory or something. And like one of the generals from the other side is like, on the front line. Like, he's like telling the troops to go, go, go. And on the other side, someone infiltrated the other party, the other side, and killed their general. And when all of the soldiers that saw their general was dead, it's almost as if the fighting force within them was taken out of them. Right? It was taken out of them. And they no longer wanted to fight. And they retreated. So it's like, and at the same time, I'm sure there were some other soldiers that saw that and was like, no, forget this. I'm going to keep fighting. But after that, after they killed the general, the war was over. So I'm saying there are certain types of people. So there are the people that watch their higher power go down, and all of their sense of fight or flight leaves their body, and they no longer want any more. They no longer want to fight for it. And there's the other person that actually built a sustainable system outside to inside. So when they see something like that happen, they are not discouraged. They may retreat, but they say, we will live to fight another day. Or the person may even go into battle nonchalantly. But those are the two types of people. The person who has the fighting soul extracted from them with witnessing their higher power go down, and the person witnessing their higher power go down and say, we will fight again another day. It's not that bad. So realistically, in that situation, I chose to suck it up and keep pushing forward. Although I did see a lot of drama, but outside of that, 2025 walked into my recovering era. This is in 2025 is my recovery era. I went ahead and took a trip. Yeah, that's like so cliche, like took a trip, but like I took a flight overseas to see some people I haven't seen in a while. If you haven't seen that video, go check out my Facebook at Brandon Anukum or at NBA Blogs. So took that trip, that flight, saw some people I haven't seen in a while. Enjoyed their company for a little bit. It was just nice seeing those people, and came back to the United States, remembering a lot and making a few decisions that I figure would be, peak for that situation, which was come back home and get ready for the rest of 2025, right? So I got home after the flight, got ready for the rest of 2025. And throughout that time period, I was sluggish. Also at the same time, I found a pulse in certain areas in my life, and I took advantage of those areas, and suddenly things started to not turn around, but suddenly things started to unveil themselves. Like certain aspects of life started to unveil themselves, whether it was people, situations, experiences, blessings, benefits, stuff like that. And it was almost as if those things were there to help me forget about the past. Saying, this is your new reality now. This is your new reality. That was the past. That is no longer a part of your manuscript. I thought about it for a little bit, and I said, you know what? The horoscope, these things are being attracted to me. Not saying I don't know why, because after that opening of 2025, I had a chip on my shoulder to ultimately do some of the things that will set the tone for the rest of my life. The fall time hits. The fall time hits. School's back in session. I say, you know what? It's time to hunker down. So you guys see me right now. I'm on YouTube. So YouTube, I just, bought a little bit of camera gear. And started up again. Started blog, talking head here, short there, reels there, pictures, lighting, stuff like that. And it was also funny because I had met someone, and if I was telling you the truth, the person I met was almost like a figure from like a past life. So ultimately, I usually don't do certain things, but I went ahead and said, you know what? If I deny this relationship, I may see some pepper later on down the road. So I didn't deny the relationship. I inherited the relationship. And so far, it's like month 6, and or hold on, sorry, I got a little off track. But like, yeah, I met this person in 2025, and I decided to entertain some of the things they had to say. It's because they reminded me of somebody that I used to know. But we're not going to get philosophical or theorize or anything like that, even though I really want to. But I'm not. Like, I remember this one time this chick told me this story about, like, the world ending, and oh boy, that was a long story. But outside of that, 2025, and the way it ended, 2025 ended different than any other New Year's I had ever had. Than any other New Year's I had ever had. And I learned through 2025 that, yes, in your life, there are scenarios and there are scenarios in which you can feel defeated. You can feel defeated. You can feel discouraged, let down, destroyed. But I can tell you right now, it takes a real one to come up with the mindset that Humpty Dumpty is not real. I mean, come on. I mean, look, it's a nice story, Humpty Dumpty. But at the same time, it's like, we're the human race. I mean, I could see if you've been conditioned, like even people that are conditioned to do certain things and they're stuck doing those things and they want to change their life. Realistically, sometimes it is like game over after a certain point, or at one point, you know, it is game over. But you have to choose which person you are. Are you the person that looks in the mirror and goes, you know what? It's game over. Not because you give up, but because it is game over. Or are you the person that says, you know what? Things are kind of stacked against me right now. But I have a feeling, or I think that I have enough firepower, or I have enough skills to ultimately climb out of this situation with no scratches. Or you could be that person that ends the year and says, wow, that year was something, wasn't it? I like where this is going, which isn't a lot of people. They won't verbally say, I like where this is going, unless they're like in a work setting or something like that. But at the end of my year, before that clock hit 12, something happened. I was listening to music and I was like, it's on YouTube, right? I was listening to music on YouTube, and sometimes I like to download the Super Bowl halftime shows, right? So at 11:59, Super Bowl like 58 or 57, the halftime show comes on. And you know, of course, it's like the here is the Pepsi halftime show, right? And then like this harmony, like this like ooh, like choir, almost like instrumental comes on, and it's like easing in, and then all of a sudden you hear like this and it's like it's the weekend, and the weekend's like having this like build up to this climax. And then all of a sudden, the show starts. At 12, the show started. Let me tell you right now. If you've ever listened to that halftime show, go back and listen to it. Can you imagine at 11:59, when that song started, and then at 12, and the entire show started. It was so cinematic. And audio, like so audio pleasing. It was almost as if it was like a song. It was so cool. It was so cool. Like, I did not know it was gonna, like, it was in sync. I was in sync. It was so crazy. Like, I'll show you. Like, you know what? Like, it was like the first like minute of the song, and then the show starts, and the song, and the crowd erupts, and the music starts, like the bass, the treble, all that starts. Like, it was so cool. And after the Super Bowl, and I played the halftime show for the next 15 minutes. At 12:15, I laid down, went to sleep to start the year. But I don't know, like, I think I found a 11:59, 12 o'clock New Year's tradition. So 2026 is more. 2026 is more. It's more. It's what it is. And if you plan on getting down bad in 2026, down bad in 2026, that's your prerogative, baby. So, with 2026 in question on who's going to win the Super Bowl, who's going to be the most streamed artist this year, what's going to be the songs of the summer, who's going to be the breakout artist of this year, the rookie of the year, the number one draft, who are going to be these people? I guess if you stay locked in with me, I could be the guy to let you know who those people are. And for the record, I don't normally wear do-rags in public. I just wear one right now because, you know, sometimes hair is like annoying. Not like seriously, but like, you know what I mean? Hair could be like, it's a, what do they call it? It's a it's a privilege. It's a privilege to have hair. I don't deserve facial hair or eyebrows. I don't, you know, I but I just am here to tell you that 11:59, December 31st this year, join me. Play the Weeknd's halftime Super Bowl performance this year. I'll remind you, but this year. We can all experience it coming in. It's going to be so cool. Go check that out. Until next time, eat your heart out, kid. My heart. Yeah.